Hi everyone, welcome to the CSS program. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the Ethernet cabling system. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to enumerate and discuss the tools and equipment used in computer networking. You will also be able to discuss the color scheme of T568A and T568B standardization of network cabling system. Let's discuss first the tools and equipment used in computer networking. In cabling, we use the RJ45. RJ45 is a type of connector commonly used for Ethernet networking. The RJ in RJ45 stands for registered jack, since it is a standardized networking interface. The 45 simply refers to the number of the interface standard. Each RJ45 connector has 8 pins, which means an RJ45 cable contains 8 separate wires. If you look closely at the end of an Ethernet cable, you can actually see the 8 wires, which are each a different color. 4 of them are solid colors, while the other 4 are striped. RJ45 cables can be wired in 2 different ways. One version is called T568A and the other is T568B. A twisted pair cable is a type of cable made by putting 2 separate insulated wires together in a twisted pattern and running them parallel to each other. This type of cable is widely used in different kinds of data and voice infrastructures. These are the Ethernet cables that you'll find as you connect your computer to your router or modem so you can have internet access. Ethernet twisted pair cable comes in 2 different types. The first type is unshielded twisted pair, which is by far the most common type of cable that is used today. UTP consists of 4 pairs of color-coded wires twisted around each other. The wires are twisted to prevent electromagnetic interference or crosstalk. This type of network cable most people used in their home or business. And the second type is shielded twisted pair. STP is very similar to UTP except that it has a foil shield that covers the wires. This shield adds a layer of protection against electromagnetic interference leaking into and out of the cable. This type of cable is mainly used for industrial purposes and not so much in a home or business. So if you are the kind of person that is going to make their own custom cables for your network, typically you would buy a bulk row of twisted pair cable, then you would have to wire them correctly, then attach RJ45 connector to each end. Crimping tool is a device used to conjoin 2 pieces of metal by deforming one or both of them in a way that causes them to hold each other. The result of the tool's work is called a crimp. A good example of crimping is the process of affixing a connector to the end of a cable. For instance, network cables and phone cables are created using a crimping tool, shown below, to join the RJ45 and RJ11 connectors to the both ends of either phone or CAT5 or CAT5E cable. You would have to remove the protective shielding at each end of the network cable to expose the wires, and this is done by using a cable stripper. The cable is inserted into the cable stripper and the outer shielding is removed to expose the wires, then you would insert the cables into a wire crimper to attach an RJ45 connector. But before you attach the connector, the wires in the cable have to be arranged in a certain order, and that order will be different depending upon the purpose of the cable. Network tester is a device that is used to test the strength and connectivity of a particular type of cable or other wired assemblies. A cable tester can test whether a cable or wire is set up properly, connected correctly, and the communication strength between the source and destination. There are 2 different wiring standards that are used. One standard is 568A and the other standard is NCII the 568B. And on the screen, you can see the wiring order for both the A and B standards. The orders are based on the color of the wires. The 568A standards is wired in this order: white green, green; white orange, blue; white blue, orange; white brown, brown. The 568B standards is wired in the following order: white orange, orange; white green, blue; white blue, green; white brown, brown. So the only difference between the A and B standards is the green wires are swapped with the orange, and it doesn't really matter which standard you use. Both standards do the same thing. The most common types of twisted pair cables that are used in a local area network are straight and crossover cables, and these two cables have two different purposes. So let's talk about the wiring order that these twisted pair cables use. Whether you choose the A or B wiring standards, if both ends of the cable are wired using the same standard, then this is known as straight cable, which is also known as the patch cable. It allows signal to pass through from end to end. This is the most common type of Ethernet cable that's used on a local area network. A straight cable is used to connect computers to hubs, switches, routers, or modems. In other words, it used to connect dissimilar devices together. This is the most common cable that's used in local area networks. So let's talk about the crossover cable. Now, the crossover cable is also used in local area networks, but it's not as common as the straight cable. A crossover is created when both ends of a cable are wired using the two different standards. For example, one end is using the 568A and another end is using the 568B standard. Crossover cables are used to connect two similar devices together. For example, it is used to connect two computers directly to each other without using a hub or switch. And it can also be used to hubs, switches to switches, or router to router. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and see you soon.